the logic of the soul becomes very important as we turn to our daily lives and take a look at how we're living our life from 9 to 5 and for that matter 24 hours a day. This is not something, again, that's taught in any school. The logic of the soul logic. See, logic, again, is something that we think exists in our mind. But the problem with the mind's logic is that its data, the facts upon which it's basing its considerations and placing its choices and determinations in front of us, that data is extremely limited. The data of the mind, of course, is limited to the data that it has intaken, that it has come to understand through the process of life from the time that our physical body emerged and was born into physicality. But the data of the soul, the insight and the awareness of the soul, of course, is limitless. It is the insight and the awareness of all of eternity. That is, the soul understands everything. All that is, all that ever was, all that ever will be, the purpose, the point of it all, what divinity is, and even how best to express it from moment to moment through the process called physical manifestation. All we have to do is listen to the soul. And we can apply the soul's logic to the mind's consideration of the body's experiences as it moves through life, yes? So one way to do that is through a process that I have called soul logic. And I invite people to use the soul logic process in particular at moments in their life when they've encountered a major challenge, perhaps even what you would call a major defeat or a major problem, maybe even some major damage, could I put it that way, that's something that someone else has done to us that we feel damaged, hurt, or injured by, or any other kind of encounter with life that makes us feel a little bit unlike the divine, not joyous, terribly negative and hurt. And we call these life's day in and day out challenges. But again, we are not given very many tools with which to deal with those challenges, especially tools that engage the soul. We are given lots of mental tools, of course. We have psychologists we go to, and psychiatrists and doctors and people who help us with the body and with the mind. And we even have ministers and members of the clergy, rabbis, priests, teachers, ulama, who try to help us with matters of the soul or the spirit as well. But I have not, through the years that I have encountered those people, ever come across anything quite as elegant or simple as what I call the soul logic process, which was given to me in conversations with God. And that's a process in which we ask ourselves a simple series of questions. The questions go like this. Let's just pretend, right now, that something important or damaging or serious has happened in your life. Yes? Something around which you maybe feel a bit of resentment or anger or upset or disappointment or frustration. Something about which you do not feel all that good. But you're trying to grapple with it, trying to deal with it, trying to see how it fits into the overall cosmology of your life so that you can move forward with your life and not be hampered or restricted by this event that has occurred in your experience. I invite people, when I do this process with them, to answer the following questions. You might do this right now yourself. You might even think in your mind right now of something that has occurred in your life, perhaps recently or maybe even 10 or 15 or 20 years ago, but something important that has happened in your life that, how would I put this, that you wish hadn't happened, that was not so nice, not so good by your judgment, not so pleasant, might even have hurt or damaged you in a very serious way. And I'm not making light of that. I'm just inviting you to take a look at that and bring that to your mind right now, just for the purposes of this exercise. Then ask yourself the following questions. Question number 1. Do you believe in God? Maybe you even want to write down the answers to these questions on a piece of paper. Do you believe in God? Question number 2. Do you believe in the existence of the human soul? Question number 3. If you do, if you believe in God and believe in the existence of the human soul, if you don't, by the way, we'll talk about that in a minute, but let's just assume that you do. If the answer to those 2 questions is yes, then question number 3, what is your understanding of the relationship between your soul and God? I'm going to give you a little prompt here. I hope that you're going to say, I hope that you've come to conclude that the relationship between your soul and God is that the two are one, that your soul is in fact the localization, the individual demonstration of divinity. If that's true, then we go to question number 4. Can what you understand God to be find itself hurt or damaged or injured in any way? If your answer is no, that God certainly can't be hurt or damaged or injured in any way, then the next question becomes, can your soul be hurt or damaged or injured in any way? If your soul is in fact one with the divine, your answer would necessarily have to be no. Your mind can think that you have been hurt or damaged or injured in some way, but your soul knows that such a thing is impossible within the framework of its eternal, everlasting life and within the framework of its true identity as a demonstration of divinity. Well, now, if your soul cannot be hurt or damaged in any way, the next question becomes, why would you feel that you've been hurt or damaged, and what would the reason be for the soul to collaboratively create, with all the other souls involved, the incident or event or circumstance that caused you to imagine yourself, to really feel, in the truest sense, that you were hurt or damaged or injured in some major way? That is, what would the soul's agenda be? If you ask yourself that question, and maybe even do it in writing, you will often receive an answer that is astonishing to you, that is surprising to you, that is opening to you, that is revelatory, that is, it reveals to you the purpose, the point, the process, the procedure by which the soul has united and in a collaboration with all the other souls involved, perhaps it's one other person, perhaps it's many other people, in the event and circumstance, in the situation that you have declared in your mind has been deeply damaging and hurtful and injurious to you. Now, I don't want you to think that I'm trying to make light of, I say this again, to make light of what's happened in your life, or to try to talk you out of feeling that it did injure you and did damage you. Those are legitimate feelings. Those are important feelings. They may not be a reflection of the highest truth, but they certainly are a reflection of your localized experience, no question about that. But what can be healing is for you to understand why such an incident, situation, or circumstance would have arisen in the first place.